Bundesliga predictions, round 28, Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for an exciting midweek edition of our Bundesliga predictions. So we are recording this video before we have even seen a ball being kicked at the weekend. It's one of the annoying things you have to do when there are midweek games. So we're either going to be freaking geniuses or we're going to be freaking idiots. Guess which one? Probably the latter. But regardless of that, we welcome you to the video. There are timestamps down below in the description, so you can cherry pick between certain games that you want to hear us talk about. But to be honest, you should just sit back and listen to every single game because you're just going to miss out on absolute gold. Thomas, I can't hold back anymore. Lead us into the match of all matches to kick us off.
That's right, Ian. It's Die Klassiker. Borussia Dortmund hosting Bayern Munich.
Die Klassiker indeed, Thomas. It is Dortmund versus Bayern Munich. I am absolutely torn on this one, so you better lead off.
I can't look past Dortmund in this match. They're going to line up in a 3-4-3. They're going to play really attacking football. In their first match, Sancho, Götze, Reina, Axel, none of these players actually even made it into the squad, so they're going to be even stronger than that first match where they just ripped apart Schalke. A couple of other things. They have players in there that are absolute Ironmen. Matt Hummels, who's completed more passes than any player since he entered the league. Lucas Piszczek, who's made more appearances than any other player since he joined the team. This is an incredible team. They've won 9 of their last 10 Rückrunde matches. This is their best form in a run-in since they were last champions. The last time a home team lost in this fixture, Ian, was the 4th of November 2017. This is a match that's won by the home team, generally won by the home team well. I can't help it. I've got to go for Dortmund. Dortmund are going to win this one 3-1.
Thomas, you are an absolute fool. Do you know nothing? Do you learn nothing from the history of this club? Do you learn nothing about how there are a bunch of fancy Dans that love to flatter to deceive, that love to live in Bayern Munich shadow, that love to go on these long unbeaten runs and give their fans hope, and then what do when it comes to the crunch? They choke. And that is exactly what they're going to do on this occasion. Recently, we thought they were going to go out and smash Paris Saint-Germain, and what happened? They went out to the flakiest of the flaky Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, and now they come up against all-conquering, all-singing, all-dancing Bayern Munich, who we can only assume, or fingers crossed, otherwise I'm going to look like a fool, they are still 4 points ahead in this Bundesliga. And remember, they are the champions. They got the champions advantage in this one. They don't need to force the pace. They don't need to force the game. If it's 0-0 coming down the stretch, who the hell cares? Bayern Munich don't. They'll take that all day long. We talk about their players. We don't need to go into much. Lewandowski, Müller, Alphonso Davies, who have seen him over the last couple of games. Oh my God, his pace is frightening. They've turned Serge Gnabry into a good player. Who saw that coming? They're solid as a rock at the back. We haven't even talked about Joshua Zirkzee, this Holland kid. Oh my God, where has he come from? Setting all kinds of goal-scoring records, including being one of the youngest goal scorer to ever come out of Holland in the Bundesliga. And they've just got ice in their veins, Tom. They are so good for a reason. These are the games they live for. They've been going through the motions. They're going to come out and not batter them. They'll do it nice and routine. For me, Bayern win it 2-1.
I'm assuming.
I'm just thinking of Haaland.
I knew you'd say Haaland was scoring the goal. I knew it. It's hard to look past Haaland. He'll get a goal.
Yeah, I mean, jokes aside and all that, this should be I'm really hoping for a really good game. I hope everybody is. Yeah. You'd love to see it just being hell for leather. You really want to see the big players come to the fore. You want to see people like Sancho putting in a good performance for Dortmund. And just hope it's not one of those ones that's overhyped and it turns out to be a bit of a damp squid.
Well, if it helps you, Ian, last time round, Bayern won 4-0.
Eintracht Frankfurt versus SC Freiburg.
Okay, Ian, it's time to talk about the heavyweight match of the round. It's Frankfurt versus... Okay, I can't even do that. Let's not
I'm glad we got that undercard out of the way early doors.
I'm backing Frankfurt in this match. The last round of this saw a 1-0 win for Freiburg with 3 red cards. A heated, violent affair, if I've ever heard of one. But I really like this Frankfurt side. I know they're in 13th. I know they're not playing for a lot. But the more I read about them, the more I like. Filip Kostic has been such a good player. He's had a fabulous season with 12 goals and 15 assists. He can pull apart any defense. Quite a few of their players have produced with good form. Torre and Dika, Chandler. But the man to watch remains Daichi Kamada. It's Kamada watch, ladies and gentlemen. The third iteration of it. We are looking for our boy to score, and we will highlight him until he does. This is another of those really fun German teams that have tons of interesting young players on it. A lot of players that this year have come to the fore. They play a 4-5-1 formation. I think they're going to be able to stifle Freiburg's attacking intent by the fact that they almost are going to have 9 players back. They've scored more than their opponents, but obviously they've conceded more as well. I've got them scoring enough goals to win this. I've got them winning this one 2-1.
Daichi Kamada watch. What is this clown show? I tell you what, Daichi Kamada watch. All the players and fans will be watching saying, why is he playing? And the Freiburg fans will be watching going, oh my God, what an embarrassment. That is what he is. They'll be standing around laughing at him. This well-drilled, wonderful Freiburg side. I want to see Freiburg play Palace.
Okay.
I just want to see. That's my dream of football. Tom, are you aware of the Pokemon Metapod?
Yes.
Have you ever seen a Metapod battle a Metapod?
So they just harden the entire time.
That is what Palace vs Freiburg would be like. It would be the ultimate war of attrition. Make this happen, Hodgson and Freiburg manager, who I still haven't learnt the name of, but I mean, come on, man. It's Freiburg all the way. They won the last one 1-0, as you said. That's what they do. They live for 1-0 wins, and they're going to win this one 1-0.
Good.
Detailed football analysis, Freiburg.
I was about to say. In our next match, it's Bayer 04 Leverkusen versus VfL Wolfsburg.
Another big game in the Bundesliga, obviously overshadowed by the Dortmund and Bayern Munich clash. But this is 5th versus 6th. Both of them still got an opportunity of getting into the Champions League. Both of them in really good form as well. Remember, it's before we see them at the weekend, so, don't hold us to it. Wolfsburg, it's going to be, you'd fancy Leverkusen to win it, just the way what we've seen out of the small sample size so far on them. They looked a lot more fluid. They looked like a lot more of a settled side. Wolfsburg, we've only seen them in that kind of stodgy win they had against Augsburg, but they're still a really good side. Gouliani and Arnold, they look really good in midfield. They pull the strings for most of the season, and it's really tough. I really just cannot see them beating this Leverkusen side, and that's the only thing. Pretty evenly matched, aren't they? They play same formations. Tom, I'm really struggling here. I don't know what to do. I think I have to back Leverkusen. I think they'll win it. I think they'll come out. I mean, they just look a stronger side for me. I think Leverkusen will win 2-1.
Well, Ian, this is a tough match to predict. The away side has actually won this fixture since a 2-2 draw in October 2017. It's been absolutely mad, but this Leverkusen side this year are so good. They obviously won the corresponding fixture earlier in the season, 2-0. A fantastic young side. So many good young players. Havertz, Wirtz, Diaby. You can't even forget about Bailey, who's stuck on the bench because Diaby's in there having such a good season, and he was fantastic in the first match. Again, we haven't seen the last round. Leverkusen might get steamrolled by Mönchengladbach, but I'm telling you now they won't. Havertz is my boy. But if Havertz doesn't score, don't sleep on Joseph Bacallo. He's already got 7 goals across all competitions this year. 21-year-old and loves to just take a dig from distance. I keep talking about this. Leverkusen are one of the best possession sides in the world. They're, I think, top 5 this season. They're in 5th by like 1% under Barcelona. Like you said, they both play 4-2-3-1s, and I think that's actually going to be Wolfsburg's hardest thing to do, is to come up against a side that works so well as a unit and is so good at free-flowing football that can run up, down, left, right, and that when they get it back, have such a clear game plan. With Leipzig, we see a side that sometimes they lack the tooth at the end of it, and they have to play kind of perfectly for their odd formation to work. But Leverkusen don't have to play perfectly. They're so well drilled. They're such a clean, smooth side. And I've got them to win this. I think they'll beat Wolfsburg 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, also you got to take into effect this is the this is a short turnover of games, and those players are still getting up to match fitness. So there'll be a lot of changes in the squads, no doubt, for this game and for the next game at the weekend as well. So you have to bear that in mind when you think of these games. 1. FC Union Berlin versus FSV Mainz 0-5.
Ian, I think we need to figure out what the hell all these numbers mean, because I'm lost. I'm actually lost.
Well, you don't know?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you would have worked out by now. Well, I'm not going to tell you if you don't know. You have to do it yourself.
Right, it's the Union versus the Mainz. Schweiny's team versus East Berlin. Union didn't look terrible in the loss to Bayern. It was a pretty, routine 2-0 win for Bayern, but Union played hard. They almost scored a goal. It was very much one of those matches where they miss up one end and then they instantly go down the other end and concede. Wasn't great to see the Subotic error, but we've talked all this stuff through, right? This is a set-piece special team, all right? Christopher Trimmel plays the most beautiful balls in on set pieces. They win the headers. They get their goals. They've got a great goalkeeper at the back, Rafael Gikiewicz. I think he's got over 94 saves now. Every time he gets a clean sheet, they win a match. Yunus Mali was added during the winter break because they're brought in to be a more experienced head for them. And as much as I love this Mainz team, and I really do, I find them fun. I'm so happy that they might actually stay in the league this year. Not only because I remember back in the day when Podolski played for them, and then when he left with a sad heart to go to Bayern just to win a game.
Spare me your Podolski sob stories.
I love Podolski. But I think Union are going to win this. So the corresponding fixture earlier was 3-2 to Union. Obviously, they were away from home, so they only had their away fans, and we talked about how their fans are so important to them. But I actually think this is going to be a really close match. Both clubs are trying to... One club's trying to play for its future. The other one is trying to just about creep into the top half. I'm going to go 1-0 to Union.
Thomas, you have to think about all the effort that Union are going to expel in this derby game at the weekend. I know they'll have like an extra day over the Mainz to get over it, but that is going to be everything that they're playing for is that game. This is going to be very much after the Lord. Yeah, go on.
You know, Mainz are playing RB Leipzig, right?
By the by.
Roger.
So Union are going to have to pick themselves up after that derby, win, lose or draw, and it's going to be very much after the Lord Mayor's show against Mainz. What worries me about this Mainz side is defensively. They looked really good in the game I saw them play against Koln, where they came back from 2-0 down. Again, we talked about that at length. But defensively, they did look poor, and that is something that Union Berlin could exploit. You've already talked about how good they are from set pieces. They're a side that know their limitations. They know what they need to do to win a game. They don't sort of try and go away from the method that's been successful for them. However, I am going to be back in Mainz in this one. Robin Quaison leading the way, leading them to victory, and I am going to back Mainz to win 2-1.
Because Werder Bremen are hosting the mighty Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Oh my goodness me, Werder Bremen fans, this might be one where you just want to hide behind the sofa. Maybe maybe they can't really take holidays at the moment. Maybe just watch a good movie and then check the score after one, because I think this one is going to be brutally tough and a bit of a beating for you, I must say. What can you say? There's nothing that's been impressive about them. There was nothing impressive in their first game back. It's just form guide just tells you lose. I know they've got players like Rashina who's up for big games and has scored goals in the past. And they're struggling. There's no doubt about it. They are struggling. This is not one of the games they'll be looking at that they could take points off. They've still got games against some of the bottom sides like Paderborn, like Cologne, like Mainz that they will be looking at as the games where they can take 3 points in. This one isn't one of them, and I just can't see them putting up much of a fight against this Gladbach side. I'm going 3-0 Gladbach.
3-0. Good lordy, and you've got no faith in your boys.
My boys?
But neither do I.
My boys?
Neither do I. So Bremen have
I didn't realise Rochdale were playing.
Alright, if you're interested in knowing what that joke is, please go back and watch our League One videos. They're class.
An odd joke.
Bremen have actually conceded the most goals this season and scored the second least. They're coming up against the Gladbach side. They're in the top half for scoring and in, I think, the bottom 3 or 4 for goals conceded. They're coming up against a class unit. Marcus Thuram, who we highlighted in the first game, was awesome. We expect more from him, obviously the son of Lilian Thuram. Jan Sommer has been goalkeeper this season. I think he's going to keep a clean sheet here. Ben Sabini, their attacking fullback, is becoming a better and better player, as is Hoffman. I think this is too much for a Bremen team to handle. Mönchengladbach actually led the table for 8 rounds of matches. I think they were about 4 weeks in. And a couple of blips had them lose out, and then a result against Leipzig, they dropped below them. They're now back to being above them until the weekend. We don't know what happened on the weekend. They still got to play Bayern, so anything is possible. They are very much in the title race. They've won 5 titles themselves. Plia is still their top scorer, and out of him and Thuram, you feel like one of them is going to get a goal or two. Ian, I'm going to go 4-0.
I think you kind of have to, really, don't you? You wouldn't think.
Can't go 2-0, can you?
Well, yeah, you wouldn't. So you'd have to go one higher. And I tell you, just going back to Bayern, they've got quite a tough run in. They still got to play a few of the top sides, like Dortmund. They still got to play Bremen, Wolfsburg, Leverkusen, I think, as well. So
yeah, they have got a very tough run in, and one will highlight as this continues.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a load of. Everyone around Germany is getting out their small violins and playing a sad song for Bayern Munich. 1899 Hoffenheim, what a fine year, versus number 1 FC Cologne.
The greatest of vintages you will ever find is the 1899 Hoffenheim.
Just give me half a bottle of Blue Nun.
Every now and then, we get really excited for football matches, and we talk about them. And I did that for the first match, Bayern versus Dortmund. I did it again, oddly, for Eintracht Frankfurt versus Freiburg. I gathered my energy for my favorite club in the German league, Leverkusen versus Wolfsburg. I even found interest in FC Union. I spoke highly of Borussia Mönchengladbach. This is going to be the quickest one I do. By the way, if anyone can't tell, this is called filler. I'm getting very good at it now. Previous result was a 2-1 win to Hoffenheim. Obviously, they're away from home. Now they're at home hosting Cologne. Cologne play a 4-2-3-1. Hoffenheim play a 4-2-3-1. These are two very evenly matched sides. Right now, they're 9th and 10th, respectively, in the league. Cologne has scored more than the opponents they're coming up against, and they've conceded 1 more. Basically, what this tells me is there will be goals in this fixture, no matter what. Cologne Stadium is huge, and a bit like Union Berlin, they are really missing their fans, both home and away. Their real goal, and a goat. Their real goal at this point is, can they come 7th? This is really their first chance to prove that they can. I think they're going to do it here. I think they're going to do it against a Hoffenheim side who have been so bad and are in such poor form that I just can't see him winning. But I think there are goals in this, Ian. I think it's going to be decided by a cat's whisker,
Bees
other... Wish you wouldn't speak sometimes. And 3-2 to Cologne.
I've got this one labelled as a draw. I just can't split the sides. Yeah, as you said, Hoffenheim won this fixture early on in the season. Where's that Hoffenheim gone? Because they are nowhere near the side that they were like earlier on in the campaign. Their form guide is terrible. If you look at the form, you'd be backing Cologne to win all day long. I just have a sneaky feeling it's going to be a 1-1 draw, even though I don't know why that is, because Hoffenheim, bad form and bad at home as well. So I've no real logic to really put that in as a 1-1 draw. Maybe Baumann will carry on his good form and have a screamer for them, and they'll scrape out of this one with a 1-1 draw.
Okay, Ian, it's time for the GrandStandBettors featured match of the day, because it's Fortuna Dusseldorf versus SC Schalke. 04.
That's right, Thomas. Our good friends at GrandStandBettors have kindly provided us with another tip for these round of matches. They've gone for over 2.5 goals in this game. This is a company you should really be checking out their tips. If you haven't gone and checked out GrandStandBettors, what the heck are you doing? You're just missing out on great tips that can win yourself some money. We've got details down below. We've got details on the screen. So go and check out GrandStandBettors. Go and back this tip and go and win yourself some cash.
And I will state, I don't like betting on football. I'm never 100% sure. As much as I do these prediction videos, it's a tough gig. Averaging over 50% is really tough. I think we both just about do that right now. But every week I bet on the GrandStandBettors bet. Every week it's come in for us in the last month. So, in the last 3 months. How many months into the year are we?
Yeah,
4.
Four
months.
They were still doing it when there was no games. They just said this game will be postponed.
But
that's how shrewd they are.
So, genuinely, get down, try them out. We like them. I'm sure you'll like them as well.
Oh, goodness me. Two sides that are in dreadful form and at different ends of the table. Schalke need the points to try and resurrect their season, to try and have any chance of getting back into the European picture. And Dusseldorf still not safe at the bottom. We'll be looking to try and get some points to move away from there. I'm not expecting a classic. I don't think you can. I actually predicted Schalke to win at the weekend, so I'm saying that they've already come over their long unbeaten run, but if they haven't, they'll be even more jittery going into this one. They need Harrit to turn up, and they need him to turn up big time. What can David Wagner really do to try and stop the bleeding? It's a side that just are devoid of all confidence and don't look like they're playing well, and what can you do? I think this one's going to be a draw, personally. I'm going to go for a second draw in a row. I'm actually going to say this is going to be my 0-0.
0-0. Fair enough. Not a lot to say. As far as Dusseldorf are concerned, they play a 4-4-2. Schalke play a 3-4-3. Schalke scored more than them and conceded less. And that really is where I see the difference. Dusseldorf are the lowest scorers in the league. I can't see them getting a goal here. They're up there in the highest concessions. Their one player who is any good in front of goals, Hennings. Well, here we go. We had Kamada watch. Here's Hennings watch. He's their top scorer. He's yet to score, though, in 2020. He's been left out of 2 straight games. Ian will argue with me, but he is literally their only hope. Can he come in? Can he get a goal for them? I'm saying no. I'm calling it here, no. I've got Schalke to win this game. I've got Schalke to win 2-0, and I think this is going to paper over a lot of cracks at Schalke right now.
So, just to say, last time these sides played, it was 3-3. I don't see it being quite as entertaining.
A lot has changed since then.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our second Klassiker, because it's FC Augsburg versus FC Paderborn. 0-7.
Right, I think I'm going to talk about Augsburg for a minute, and then Ian will talk about Paderborn. Augsburg play a 4-2-3-1, a very popular formation. They are losing matches like it's going out of style, but the previous incantation of this, they won. As we know, Paderborn, not the greatest side. Augsburg are really close to relegation zone. They're only 4 points clear of Dusseldorf right now. They equal on points with Mainz. This is going to be a really key match in their battle to avoid the drop. Florian Niederlechner has 11 goals. He's their player to watch. This team has more goals than Wolfsburg, Schalke, and Freiburg. Augsburg are just a weird club. They seem to score and concede for fun. They've conceded as many as Paderborn. And again, I think this is going to be an exciting match. 2-1 to Augsburg?
Wow, there we go. That was a struggle to even say the word. Augsburg shaded it when the sides met, and if you look at the form guide, you'd say Paderborn all day long, Tom, with their long streak of draws. But they don't really offer too much. The way they set up, I mean, they kind of have to. Otherwise, they'll just probably take a paste in week out. It's very much to try and be damage limitation and then try and nick goals on the break. If Kai Prodder has a good game, maybe they might be able to sneak something out of it. But it's going to be tough, and it's literally not looking like they were going to be able to stave off relegation this season. But let's make it interesting. Let's make it crazy. And let's do a repeat. Oh, no, let's not do a repeat. Let's go for a 2-1 Paderborn win.
And in the final match of the round, RB Leipzig host Hertha Berlin.
Oh, Thomas, I wish I could talk more about the darling of German football and their most loved club in RB Leipzig, but I'm here to talk about Hertha Berlin. What can I say about Hertha Berlin? Let's take what I said about Union and copy and paste and put it here. What's going to be left of this Hertha Berlin side after they've used all their energy up in the derby game? Probably not much. They are on a good run of form, though. Obviously, we are doing it once again before we've seen a ball kicked over the weekend. But before the weekend, they are in good form. They've got Kuna who's scoring goals. He's scored a great goal as well. Again, we've talked about that before. I'm expecting a good game and I'm expecting goals in this one. It's just my biggest thing is Hertha Berlin. They just don't seem that great at the back. They seem like they very, very, very open, and I think that's something Leipzig can exploit. And I'm going to go for, it was 4-2 to Leipzig the last time these sides played. And I can't remember the last time I did a 4-2, but it sounds about right in my head. 4-2.
Love it, Ian. I love your enthusiasm. I actually really wanted to talk about Leipzig because I did not realize that Nagelsmann plays the most convoluted formation in world football. And a 3-1-4-2 was what they lined up with in their last match. They have scored 63 goals. I think that's the third highest scorers in the league. They've conceded 27. They're the second best defensive record. This team has been really good. They've only lost 3, but they've drawn 9. And when they do score, they seem to score en masse. 8-0 victories, 4-2 victories. And I was trying to figure out why this is. And you look at it, and it's because of 2 players. They have 2 standout players, and around that, not a huge amount else. And it's Timo Werner and Christopher Nkunku. And these 2 guys account for almost 50 goals between the 2 of them, I think it is. It's an obscene level of goals. Werner has 7 assists and Nkunku has 13, and then Werner's got 21 goals and Nkunku's got 4. I mean, if these 2 players basically can't find each other and get the back of the net, that's why they end up drawing these games. Because outside of that, Marcel Sabitzer has 8 goals. Everyone's chipping in with 4 or 5 goals and stuff and some assists, but they kind of lack a real second creative presence in this team. And when your second highest assister is also your highest goal scorer, it becomes hard to score goals sometimes, especially if Timo Werner's having an off day or if a team marshals him well. That being said, I don't think Berlin are the team to marshal him well. They line up in a 4-4-2. There's a reason Nagelsmann is the next Mourinho, Klopp, one of these guys. He is a perfectionist. He builds a team that when it is free-flowing and on form, it absolutely decimates opponents. Ian's gone for 4-2, so I can't take that scoreline, but I will go 4-1.
I thought Leipzig would, again, one thing we didn't touch about in their 1-1 draw they had against Freiburg was just kind of overplayed it at times. Just kind of make things too overcomplicated.
They remind me genuinely of the first of last season's Klopp's Liverpool, that especially at the beginning of the season could turn it on for one match, and the next match you're just like, what the fuck am I watching now? Why are you doing that? Why are you just... But I get the feeling that this is Nagelsmann's style, that this is this kind of coaching style coming out of Germany where every single part of the team is programmed to do something perfectly. And if that one part is failing, or if it overthinks it, or if it doesn't always pick the optimal route, it just, the entire system kind of crumbles around it a little bit. And that's what I felt like against Freiburg. You're doing fine, and then they couldn't get a ball forward.
I'm just going to throw it open. Any Leipzig fans that do watch that, let us know. Let us know if that's been a common thing for them this season, that if things don't go exactly their way in a game, that they struggle to adapt and find a plan B. Because that's what it seemed like a little bit. They went a goal down, they weren't expecting it, and they just kind of struggled. They just kind of got a little bit too frantic. Yeah.
That being said, I think this round and last round, we predicted they score goals. Goals.
That's again, it sounds silly. We're basing this off one game where they weren't at their best. It's they are still a very, very good side, and you'd expect them to be better in most games that they play.
So, Ian, I think that's it from us. We're finally done. All that's left is to yet again thank everybody for liking, subscribing, for following everything you guys do, following us on social media, etc. Please keep doing it. Keep talking to us. Please comment. Give us the results you think are going to happen down below. We'd love to follow it. Hopefully, at some point, I'll be able to build a table and we'll be able to compare your results to ours. But, it's a lot of free time. So, with that being said, much love. Ian, is there anything left?
2 things, Thomas. One day, I hope that we'll be as good as doing these positions as Johnny does Bundesliga, because that guy is a freaking savant. And, as always, if you are looking for details football analysis, you're probably in the wrong place.